Now, like every new law, every new product rollout, there are going to be some glitches in the sign-up process along the way that we will fix. I've been saying this from the start. For example, we found out that there have been times this morning where the site has been running more slowly than it normally will. The reason is because more than 1 million people visited healthcare.gov before 7 o'clock in the morning. To put that in context, there were 5 times more users in the marketplace this morning than have ever been on Medicare. Gov at one time. That gives you a sense of how important this is too. Millions of Americans around the country, and that's a good thing. And we're going to be speeding things up in the next few hours too. Handle all this demand that exceeds anything that we had expected. Consider that just a couple of weeks ago, Apple rolled out a new mobile operating system. And within days, they found a glitch, so they fixed it. I don't remember anybody suggesting Apple should stop selling iPhones. Or iPads, or threatening to shut down the company if they didn't. That's not how we do things in America. We don't actively root for failure. We get to work. We make things happen, we make them better, we keep going. So in that context, I'll work with anybody who's got a serious idea to make the Affordable Care Act work better. I've said that repeatedly. But as long as I am president, I will not give in to reckless demands by Some in the Republican Party to deny affordable health insurance to millions of hard-working Americans. I want Republicans in Congress to know these are the Americans you'd hurt if you were allowed to dismantle this law. Americans like Amanda, Nancy, and Trinus, who now finally have the opportunity for basic security. And peace of mind of health care just like everybody else, including members of Congress. The notion that you'd make a condition for reopening the government that I make sure these folks don't have health care, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Now, let me make one closing point. This Republican shutdown threatens our economy at a time when millions of Americans are still looking for work, and businesses are starting to get some traction. So the timing is not good. Of course, a lot of the Republicans in the House ran for office too. Years ago, promising to shut down the government, and so, apparently, they've now gotten their wish. But as I've said before, the irony that the House Republicans have to contend with is they've shut down a whole bunch of parts of the government, but the Affordable Care Act is still open for business. And this may be why you've got many Republican governors and senators and even a growing number of reasonable Republican congressmen who are telling the extreme right of their party to knock it off, pass a budget, move on. And I want to underscore the fact that Congress doesn't just have to end this shutdown. And reopen the government. Congress generally has to stop governing by crisis. They have to break this habit. It is a drag on the economy. It is not worthy of this country. For example, one of the most important things Congress has to do in the next couple weeks is to raise what's called the debt ceiling. And it's important to understand what this is. This is a routine vote. Congress has taken this vote 45 times to raise the debt ceiling since Ronald Reagan took office. It does not cost taxpayers a single dime. It does not grow our deficits by a single dime. It does not authorize anybody to spend any new money whatsoever. All it does is authorize the Treasury to pay the bills on what Congress has already spent. Think about that. If you buy a car and you've got a car note, you do not save money by not paying your car note. You're just a deadbeat. If you buy a house, you don't save money by not authorizing yourself to pay the mortgage. You're just going to be foreclosed on your home. That's what this is about. It is routine. It is what they're supposed to do. This is not a concession to me. It is not some demand that's unreasonable that I'm making. This is what Congress is supposed to do as a routine matter. And they shouldn't wait until the last minute to do it. The last time Republicans even threatened this course of action, many of you remember. Back in 2011, our economy staggered, our credit rating was downgraded for the first time. If they go through with it this time and force the United States to default on its obligations for the first time in history, It would be far more dangerous than a government shutdown, as bad as a shutdown is. It would be an economic shutdown. So I'll speak more on this in the coming days, but let me repeat. I will not negotiate over Congress's responsibility to pay bills it's already racked up. I'm not going to allow anybody to drag the good name of the United States of America. Through the mud just to refight a settled election or extract ideological demands. Nobody gets to hurt our economy and millions of hard-working families over a law you don't like. There are a whole bunch of things that I'd like to see passed through Congress that the House Republicans haven't passed yet. And I'm not out there saying, well, I'm going to let America default unless Congress does something that they don't want to do. That's not how adults operate. Certainly that's not how our government should operate. And that's true whether there's a Democrat in this office or a Republican in this office. Doesn't matter whether it's a Democratic House of Representatives or a Republican-controlled. House of Representatives, there are certain rules that everybody abides by. Because we don't want to hurt other people just because we have a political disagreement. So my basic message to Congress is this: pass a budget. End the government shutdown. Pay your bills. Prevent an economic shutdown. Don't. Wait. Don't delay. Don't put our economy or our people through this any longer. I am more than happy to work with them on all kinds of issues. I want to get back to work on the things that the American people sent us here to work on, creating new jobs. new growth, new security for our middle class. We're better than this. Certainly the American people are a lot better than this. And I believe that what we've accomplished for Amanda, and Nancy, and Trinus. And tens of millions of their fellow citizens on this day proves that even when the odds are long and the obstacles are many, we are and always will be a country that can do great things together. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. Thank you, all of you, for the great work that you're doing. And thank you, Kathleen Sebelius, for the outstanding work that she's doing making sure that millions of Americans can get health insurance. Thank you. Barack Obama. On the outcome of U.S. Intelligence Programs Review. Delivered January 17, 2014, Department of Justice, Washington, D. C. At the dawn of our republic, a small secret surveillance committee born out of the Sons of Liberty was established in Boston. And the group's members included Paul Revere, at night, they would patrol the streets, reporting back any signs that the British were preparing raids against America's early patriots. Throughout American history, intelligence has helped secure our country and our freedoms. In the Civil War, Union balloon reconnaissance tracked the size of Confederate armies by counting the number of campfires. In World War II, code breakers gave us insights into Japanese war plans. And when Patton marched across Europe, intercepted communications helped save the lives of his troops. After the war, the rise of the Iron Curtain and nuclear weapons. Only increased the need for sustained intelligence gathering. And so, in the early days of the Cold War, President Truman created the National Security Agency. Or NSA, to give us insights into the Soviet bloc. And provide our leaders with information they needed to confront aggression and avert catastrophe. Throughout this evolution, we benefited from both our constitution and our traditions of limited government. U.S. intelligence agencies were anchored in a system of checks and balances. With oversight from elected leaders, and protections for ordinary citizens. Meanwhile, totalitarian states like East Germany offered a cautionary tale of what could happen when West unchecked surveillance turned citizens into informers. And persecuted people for what they said in the privacy of their own homes. In fact, even the United States proved not to be immune to the abuse of surveillance. And in the 1960s, government spied on civil rights leaders and critics of the Vietnam War. And partly in response to these revelations, additional laws were established in the 1970s. To ensure that our intelligence capabilities could not be misused against our citizens. In the long, twilight struggle against communism. We had been reminded that the very liberties that we sought to preserve could not be sacrificed at the altar of national security.